The Senzo Meyiwa Murder Trial resumes with accused number 1 and 2 likely to take the stand. On Friday, Dr. Thabang Hlokwe was the last state witness in the trial within a trial to determine the admissibility of the alleged confessions of Bongani, Ntanzi and Muzi, Sibiya. For more on this, we cross live to SABC News reporter Griselda Lewis. Griselda, thank you so much for your time this morning. Of course, plenty in store for us this morning. Just take us through briefly in terms of what transpired on Friday and what we're likely to see today.
Well, thank you very much, Unati, and indeed welcome to the agenda to you. And of course, if we look back to Friday, yes, Dr. Hlokwe had been the state's last witness in wrapping up what it had brought to this trial within a trial. You correctly pointed out that this trial within a trial is to establish, whether the alleged confessions and pointings out of accused number 1 and 2 would be admissible in the main trial. So Dr. Hlokwe had basically had the accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi, referred to him. This was to establish whether he had a gold tooth. Now, this was important because one of the descriptions that was given of one of the alleged intruders that entered the house on the day that Senzo Meyiwa was shot and killed was described as someone who had a gold tooth. But Dr. Hlokwe found that he had not had a gold tooth. There'd basically not been any cosmetic surgery that had been done on his teeth. But Dr. Hlokwe had examined Ntanzi from the waist up. And recall, the reason why we are within this trial, within a trial, is to establish, you'd recall, accused number 1 and 2 indicate that they were severely assaulted, electrocuted, tubed and even beaten by a police into making alleged confessions of their alleged involvement in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. So this doctor basically said, given the fact that Ntanzi says he had been assaulted, according to what he did during that examination, he did not pick up anything that showed that he had been electrocuted, he had been tubed, he had been assaulted. So that was the last, the dentist rebutting these claims by accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi, that he had suffered any assault at the hands of police. So that's, of course, what Ntanzi has consistently maintained, was that, he had been forced into signing a prepared document by police and basically had been beaten up in order to say certain things about the alleged involvement. So the center stage, now Unati, after the defense, or I beg your pardon, the state had wrapped up its case on Friday, the defense will now take center stage, and it's highly likely that accused number 1, Muzi Sibiya, will take the stand this morning. Recall, as I indicated, it's both accused number 1 and 2 that indicated that they were forced into these alleged confessions. But for accused number 1, it's not just this alleged confession which is expected to take center stage, but also the pointings out. So there's a pointings out that was done by accused number 1, allegedly, and we're likely to hear, if he indeed gets on the stand this morning, we're hearing that's extremely likely this morning. So we're likely to hear about this alleged confession that he made, where he was allegedly beaten, what had transpired when he was taken for this alleged confession, on the day that he was taken to this pointings out, where exactly was he taken? What did he point out? We're likely to get a lot more clarity or details about what accused number 1, happened on the days of this alleged confession and the day of the pointings out. So it's likely to be a very interesting day here today. If it is as expected that Muzi Sibiya will take the stand, as the defense, of course, takes center stage, then it's very likely that we're going to hear on these critical aspects of the so-called confession and this pointings out, and the details that led from the point that he was arrested to the so-called alleged confession and this alleged pointings out. So it's bound to be a very interesting day. If we have our cards certainly pointed in the right direction, that he's likely to take the stand this morning.
Well, very quickly, Griselda, before I let you go, of course, it is the beginning of the week, and we are expecting, as you said, accused 1 and 2 to possibly take the stand this week. This is still a trial within a trial. Just talk us through, when this likely is expected to wrap up.
Well, Unati, very difficult to say, with the numerous twists and turns that we've had in this particular matter. Every day is quite a surprise. in this particular case, for one moment you'd wake up thinking that this is the way proceedings are expected to continue, but there's always a spanner in the works. But of course, it's up to the court to decide. In some aspects, of course, where the defense has complained about receiving certain crucial documentation late. We've seen quite a number of delays with regard to that. The defense, well within its right, of course, to ask for time to peruse some of these documents that it would receive. But very difficult to say at this particular time. And I really don't want to speculate, Unathi, but from where we are at the moment, significant progress indeed has been made, because we've also seen the lead investigator in this matter, Brigadier Bongani, who had also taken the stand. There were startling revelations there in that one of the affidavits or statements that he had made, speaking about, Kelly Khumalo's alleged involvement in this, pointing to her as an alleged mastermind, her allegedly giving, that instruction for her then boyfriend, Senzo Meyiwa, to be killed. Now we have the dentist, who, of course, much of that focus was on the examination of accused number 2, Bongani and Ntanzi. And at the center of that, we must not forget, is that the trial within a trial itself is not to deal with the merits of the case, but to actually deal with whether accused number 1 and 2 had been assaulted into making these alleged confessions. That's the crux of what the trial within a trial is. So as the defense takes center stage today, perhaps legal analysts, Unathi, would be able to opine a bit more better than I can. But for the defense, to call one of the accused, as we're expecting accused number 1 to be called this morning, they would really want to put the accused on the stand for him to give his version of exactly what took place from the point that he had been arrested. When was he asked about his alleged involvement in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa, and how this basically had all unfolded? But we're really expecting him to say, as we know already, that he's going to deny that he has any involvement in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. And we also know that as they've protested and said that they were forced into these alleged confessions, we'll also hear about this pointings out. Where exactly was he taken? What exactly did he point out to? And what did he say to police then? So quite a critical week we're expecting this week.